be a quick demonstration on how to edit or tailor the look of the master template. This is the master calculator template, the current version. How to edit it, tailor the look of the layout of the template so it suits your particular needs. And you can do this over and over again depending on what kind of bread you're going to make. So if you're making some specialty rye breads, you probably want to have these columns here and possibly that and that. But for most purposes, every day in your kitchen, if you're making sourdough bread or that sort of thing, you don't need all of these columns. You need that column, and that column can be a biga, poolish, sponge, call it what you want, as long as it's a yeasted ferment. And then you might need this column and that column. That one and the other ones here would go away. And then you just want to get rid of all of the ingredient lines that you don't really need for your particular purpose. And this can be something you do every other day depending on what you're making, or you do it once and you're done. So anyway, what I've done here is I've highlighted all of the lines that I don't normally need, and I'm just gonna go to this function here and hit hide selected rows. Now there's a bunch of stuff in here that I don't really need for this demonstration. I'm going to get it out of the way. So now the spreadsheet looks like this. It looks like a normal formula might look. This many ingredient lines will do it a lot of different breads. And then I don't need all of these columns here, so I'm just going to highlight the ones that I'm not going to use. And do the same thing. Go down and hit hide selected columns. Now, Excel and Google Sheets have similar functions, hide row functions and hide column functions. This is Apple numbers, which I used to formulate this template. I like Apple numbers, but that's a different story. It can be converted to Excel or to Google Sheets if that's what you use. Anyway, so now you've got, once again, I've got some miscellaneous information I don't need for this demonstration. These things are text boxes, so they float around on the page if you delete columns. I don't need it. What else don't I need? Well, this is theoretical stuff for my studies, and this is not something you will need. So you can get rid of that. In fact, if I ever sent this to somebody, it would probably already be missing. What's left is a report at the bottom of these pre-ferment columns that tells you what the hydration of this and that, and then two different ways of looking at how to view this preparation. I do it as a percent of total flour used in the formula, so total flour used, a percentage of that would yield this many grams. Now these colored cells, remember, and gray filled cells have embedded formula that make the spreadsheet work. So you don't do any data entry in those. That's why they're highlighted with colors. Data entry occurs in these non-color filled white cells. So that's that. So what do you have to do to make this work? First thing is you decide, well, I want to make 1,000 grams today, but it could be anything you want. It could be, 1,500 grams, whatever. Whatever value you put in there will have an impact on everything else that occurs down here. Now, maybe I want to make something entitled Pan de Campagna, okay? So I've set that spreadsheet up already, so it's basically a duplicate of this look, which I've now done. But that's really all there is to editing the template to make it set up for your needs. And you can edit it more, like on any particular day. Maybe you're going to make an enriched bread, in which case you'd want egg lines and possibly a sweetener, sugar, whatever, and a fat. And all of these lines, remember, have drop-down menus. These don't need to have drop-down menus because they're independent functioning, but salt, you could pick a type of salt that you want, and if you don't have the salt in here that you use, you can add it to the drop-down list by formatting it and adding it here. So maybe you use Morton's kosher salt, or maybe you use Malden sea salt, or who knows. You just add it and then it's set up for your needs. Sweeteners, there's a lot of different sweeteners that can be used, but the one most people use when they're making an enriched bread is sugar. And then you're going to get rid of, again, the lines you don't need. So maybe you don't need whole eggs, egg yolk, and egg white, and you only need one sweetener, and you only need one fat and oil. So you just hide them again. And now you've got a template where you can do an enriched bread dough, soft roll bread. This here has a drop-down list. You can rename it depending on what style of bread you're doing. A biga would be an option. Old dough, you can just rename it. And when you do, it changes the column headings. So everything carries over. The ingredient lines, if I change the ingredient line, it carries over to the final dough mix column. So you don't have to do a whole lot of typing in stuff. You're just clicking and selecting. It's easy. Now maybe you're cooking in France and you're going to make pan de campagne. Well, that's not what I would use, is it? Let's see. Type 80 is akin to whole wheat, not fully. And then maybe I want to use a French rye flour as well. Well, that's not in here. It's down here, though. There it is. So this might be my flour selections for the pan de campagne. Anyway, this just gives you an idea how to tailor the template down, so we're not actually writing a new formula. I don't enter data into the template because I want to maintain the template as a sacrosanct entity. I just duplicate the template and then I tailor and edit the duplicate. So I'm getting this back to its original condition. There it is, back to where it started. So what you would do is not what I just demonstrated, but I know what I'm doing, so I can do it. You're going to duplicate the master template or whatever tailored version of that template I send you. And then you're going to work on the duplicate to edit it. Okay. Hide rows to your specification based on what you're going to be doing. So anyway, I've already done that. And I'm going to next demonstrate how to write a formula doing this. Now I don't need that dupe. I'm going to get rid of it from my file. So that was short and sweet demo on how to edit the template. And that would be the first step. And once you have a edited template like this, you can use this to create the next template you need, or you just duplicate a recipe that you have. For instance, tartine baguette. I can duplicate that tab, and then I can go in and I can change that recipe however I want. Change the flours. Everything can change. You just enter in new values and it's a new recipe. So that's what you do. You don't have to do a lot of editing of that big template. Once you've got something that's usable, you keep using it. You just kind of edit it, which goes really quick. It's not a big deal. Okay. So there you have it. That's editing the template demonstration. I hope you enjoyed that. It's not hard.